I'm David Heitler-Clevens.
And I'm Rodney Wittenberg. And this is Music for the New Revolution.
We belong to the earth. We all belong to the earth.
There's only water for us all.
But tell me, why do the children play?
Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? I am a friend of the earth.
All right, we are back.
Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to another installment of Music for the New Revolution.
Yeah. And we're finally getting to tackle a major issue that we've been meaning to get to for a long time, which is to talk about the environment, the planet,
Yes.
the world, ecology, climate change.
All of the things that keep our life possible, make our life possible on this planet.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I think that these issues have been at the forefront of many people for a long time, but with the growing awareness of the crisis of climate change, it's become something I think that's been even more at the forefront of people's thinking. It should be more than it is, but
yeah. Well, I always make the argument to people when I'm talking to them. I said, well, come on, there's got to be something to man's impact on the climate's been changing since the planet's begun. I mean, that's science. I mean, if you think about the early days of this planet, it was molten. There was like just the oceans of lava and lightning, and it was not inhabitable by anything.
Right.
But it evolved, it changed, and what makes our life possible, our life being humans, possible on the planet is that there are relatively stable weather patterns. And I don't think most people recognize how delicate that is. Because our ability to make food, grow food, our ability to relatively stay warm or at least comfortable, it all is because there are relatively stable, I would say not even relatively stable, for hundreds and hundreds of years there've been stable weather patterns. And when you think about the Industrial Revolution, you think now for the past 250 years, about 230 maybe, we've been just polluting the air from the beginning, burning coal and then burning oil, fossil fuels. It's got to have an impact on the environment. That plus cutting down all the trees, which is what makes oxygen. It's pretty scary.
Yeah. And it's a lot of short-term thinking, I think, people, businesses and governments who are thinking, how they're going to get the most money the most quickly, and not thinking down the road about the lives of our children and our grandchildren and hopefully our great-grandchildren. Get that far.
Yes.
So there's a lot of big issues that are existential, as people have been saying recently. Yeah. Well, and part of what you were just pointing to, actually, often we talk for a while before we get to the music, but you actually gave a good segue maybe to the first couple songs, because you pointed to the idea of energy and how a lot of these problems come from this short-term thinking related to how are we going to get our energy. And so that made me think of like one of the first songs we have here, or the first song we have here to play, is this one from Tim O'Brien and Darrell Scott that I heard through the Grammy process, which both Rodney and I are a part of. And it's this very powerful song called "Keep Your Dirty Lights On." And then the next one we had actually was sort of the more upside, which is thinking about clean, renewable energy like solar, and that's getting our energy from the sun. From my friend Tom Pease, who does a lot of stuff for kids, especially. And that one I think he had done for kids. It's actually based on a gospel tune. So it's kind of cool. So should we go right into
Let's go right into it.
Yeah, cool.
Well, my daddy came from coal dust, and me, I'm about the same. If you read King Cole's ledger book, then you've seen my family name. It used to take a camp of miners to load their trading gone. Now there's four in my crew, and we do what we do to keep your dirty lights on. Keep your dirty lights on. Keep your dirty lights on. If you got money in your pocket and a switch on the wall, we'll keep your dirty lights on.
Well, Daddy worked in darkness, me in broad daylight. I'd blow, seem like Daddy never dreamed using no Bill's dynamite. As long as it's coal in them mountains, we're gonna burn it up till it's gone. Well, we can't stop blowing mountain tops. We gotta keep your dirty lights on. Yeah, keep your dirty lights on. Keep your dirty lights on. If you got money in your pocket and a switch on the wall, we'll keep your dirty lights on, yeah. Every time they have elections, they talk how coal is clean. Well, coal is cheap, but coal's still black. It ain't never turning green. So plug your electric car in, charge it good and strong, and do your shopping online. We'll get you every time, just to keep your dirty lights on. Oh, keep your dirty lights on. Keep your dirty lights on. If you got money in your pocket and a switch on the wall, we'll keep your dirty lights on. Keep your dirty lights on. Keep your dirty lights on. If you got money in your pocket and a switch on the wall, we'll keep your dirty lights on. Keep 'em on.
I see a day and it's not too far.
Getting our energy from the sun.
We'll draw our power from the nearest star.
Getting our energy from the sun.
Well,
I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. Getting our energy from the sun.
Well, nowadays we all move so fast.
Getting our energy from the sun.
Using up coal, oil, and gas.
Getting our energy from the sun.
They turn our skies from blue to black.
Getting our energy from the sun.
And when they're gone, they won't be back.
Getting our energy from the sun.
Well,
I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. Getting our energy from the sun.
It'll run most anything free and clean.
Getting our energy from the sun.
From a little bitty watch to a big machine.
Getting our energy from the sun.
For every creature on this earth.
Getting our energy from the sun.
We gotta use the sun for all it's worth.
Getting our energy from the sun.
Well,
I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. Getting our energy from the sun. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. Getting our energy from the sun.
When I grow up, I hope I'll find
Getting our energy from the sun. The whole world running on sunshine. Getting our energy from the sun.
I'll learn to drive an electric car.
Getting our energy from the sun. I need a rock and roll on a solo guitar. Getting our energy from the sun. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. Getting our energy from the sun. I wanna be ready.
energy from the sun. Getting our energy.
Getting our energy
from the sun.
All right. So a couple good songs, right? I think we need to talk a little bit about that first one, though. That "Keep Your Dirty Lights On" is an amazing song, I think, and I love that line in the chorus. If you've got money in your pocket and a switch on the wall, keep your dirty lights on. It's just such a great way of making that personal, like connections to coal and mountaintop removal and stuff. Like right there in your house with that switch, It's
yes. Like you're in charge of the thing that you think you're against. I love that song. And that, not only is it a great message, but it's a really good song.
It sounds so good too. It's just two people. There's not a single other person besides those two guys who wrote that song, and Tim O'Brien and Darrell Scott, and they're both like their voices and their instrument. It just fills up the sound, doesn't it? It's very cool. And I also love the fact that the style of it is very rural. The whole coal country thing. Feels like it's coming from there, as opposed to like some city person talking about it,
And I like the idea that it's the point of view is how do I say it? It seems like it's from the standpoint of an enlightened, if you will, mountain person. Like because they're looking at the city folk and going, "You're not off the hook in this. You're not clean in this." And look, we're just doing it to survive, but you're the consumer and you're the reason it keeps going. And so do something about it. I like that.
Yeah, very cool. So, so we've sort of mentioned in passing in the beginning that our, this existential crisis that as many of the candidates in this election cycle have been picking up from, people in the activism world have been saying it for a while is climate change. And it's, I think, kind of amazing to a lot of us who have been concerned about this for a while, how specifically partisan this has become, and that like very clearly one party is pushing the idea that this is all made up, that this is all a hoax, in spite of overwhelming data from just about every legitimate scientist. And what we can see with our own eyes now of the calamities that have been growing, the higher temperatures, the increased extreme storms of tsunamis and earthquakes and hurricanes. And, I realized that thing that you mentioned about like the human cause of this, that is where maybe people kind of, quibble and they recognize all this stuff is happening, but some people want to deny that it's because of things that we've done. But, right now we're in the midst of this strange time with the coronavirus. And because of that, all sorts of things have been shut down. And what's amazing about that's a sort of a silver lining and also underscores the fact that it is us that's creating these problems, is we've seen dramatic improvement in certain things around the world because of even this short time of less factories, less air travel, less cars on the road. And it's having this dramatic positive effect. So if it isn't people causing it, how is it that by people changing their ways, we get this almost immediate dramatic improvement?
I think the argument from the other side is always, but at what cost? What cost?
That's right. And interesting, because right now, here we are, of course it is having a drastic effect on the economy, but a lot of people are willing to change their lifestyles drastically for this. And there's even that Texas lieutenant governor who suggested people should be willing to die for the stock market. So if people are willing, if that were true, which I don't think is true, but if people were willing to die for the stock market, why has it been so impossible for us to say that we should be willing to change our ways even a little bit in order to stop this climate?
Well, I think that is the problem, because I think I saw the guy say it, and he was pretty serious about that. He said, if I can preserve this way of life for my children, I'm willing. Their grandparents here are willing to die for the stock market, or not for the stock market, but for our way of life.
What he really was saying was the stock market.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I think, is the challenge of climate change, because you get this, I think that for the most part, we on the left say that if you look at it from a spiritual standpoint, we are stewards of the earth. And God, I know you're not necessarily following this, but I'm going to make a point. I'm going to make a point. Where our job as humans, in a Judeo-Christian sense, is that we are stewards of the earth. And I think the other side will argue, well, we have no power. It's all, in this case, we have no power. It's all up to the higher power as to what happens on the planet, and who do we think we are? We can control things. And that then also leads to, well, then we're just going to keep on making money. We're just going to keep on worrying about, like, the short term. I think is where the argument comes from. One of the unfortunate things, though, I think that's also happened is that both sides have turned the fight into business, and they use it as a fundraising tool. And I think that also sometimes minimizes the not the actual validity of it, but how people perceive it who aren't necessarily so political. There's all sorts of challenges with communicating, but I mean, at the end of the day, all you got to do is just look at what's happening around the world, and you can see that ocean levels are rising, the earth is getting warmer, and it's not good for us as humans. And I think that's the other thing that is wrong. I always think of the George Carlin bit. The earth will be fine. It knows how to heal itself. We are screwed. Humans are screwed. We are the ones who are not going to be able to survive through this when we end up with drastically unstable weather patterns, or the weather the weather and climate just get to the point where it doesn't support us anymore. It doesn't support us living on there's plenty of animals and insects that can survive extreme heat. We can't. Mm-hmm. And there are plenty of organisms and life forms that can also survive extreme cold. We cannot.
Yeah, well, that's a good point, because it is like, a lot of times people talk about protecting the earth, saving the earth, and really, like you said, we're little ants on the earth. We're having a big effect, but we're not like, unless we actually blew up the whole thing, the earth will continue.
Yeah.
But whether it's still habitable by people and also other animals, we could do enough damage that it could be a barren planet.
No, well, there'll still be cockroaches and certain insects.
Cockroaches will outlive us all, right?
Yeah. There's certain insects, viruses. Yeah. There'll be living organisms on the planet. It just won't be any humans.
Yeah.
Because we will have done ourselves in.
Well, I think when you were talking about some of the challenges in terms of advocacy around these issues, it brings us back to our main focus, which is music. And I think music has the power often to communicate things to people, sometimes when they don't want to hear them, and particularly through really finely crafted, well thought songs. And I want to get to our next couple, which do address issues related to climate change, like we're talking about, that I think are just absolutely brilliant, wonderful pieces. The first one is probably my all-time favorite song about climate change, and one of my favorite songs about social issues in recent years of all, and that's by Susan Werner, who has her roots right here in this area. And it's this incredible song called Snowmobiles that just puts a real personal human face on these changes by looking at like one household in like northern Midwest, like I think it's Minnesota or something like that, and it just follows these changes over a relatively short amount of time and how they impact them. And it literally gives me chills, which is bizarre because it's all about warming.
Okay.
And then the second song is from a woman that I met through the People's Music Network, Amy Soucy, and it's a song called Last Days, which is a strangely hopeful song about totally depressing things.
Okay. Dystopian pop, huh?
Yeah, there you go.
The summer's hot, but the winter's cold. That's when the snowmobiles get sold. That's what we got up here. Snowmobiles and deer. It's how it is when you live up north. Winter lasts till July 4th. So we snowmobile till April, maybe longer. And my wife, she says the cold, it makes us stronger. And we're strong up here, strong as 6-point beer. Comes to the weather. The weather is what it is. The summer's hot, but the winter's cool. They just closed the swimming pool on Columbus Day. It's getting late, I'd say. Of course, the kids, they think it's good. Swim all winter if they could. And my wife, she says it's only temporary. And it'll still be cold as hell come January. And I live for that. I got an Arctic cat. Comes to the weather. The weather is what it is. Or so I thought until a couple years ago. Now anymore we get a lot more rain than snow. I mean, it really rains a lot. And then whatever snow we got, it melts away in just a day. So strange. My wife, she says that nothing's changed. She says, Patrick, don't worry. She says, look outside, now there's a flurry. The summer's hot, but the winter's warm. We just had a thunderstorm. On New Year's Eve, a first, I believe, all the farmers up and gone moved up to Saskatchewan. So we sit indoors around the kitchen table, drinking too much beer and watching too much cable, missing how it feels to ride snowmobiles back when the weather, well, it was what it was.
These are the last days. A storm's blowing in. Earth shakes her back. She warns us again. High on a hillside, a tree stands all alone, looking out over miles of wire and cities of stone. Now it's rations of hope. We hope in our pockets, like the last hit of dope. Out of a dark sky, a lonely eagle flies. There's nowhere to land. She doesn't know why. our last days, it is not carved in stone.
Well, I hope that you all enjoyed those songs as much as I do.
Yes, that's pretty awesome.
Super powerful, and also really well performed and produced. But just as songs, I marvel at them. That second song, "Last Days," I there's a couple lines that were just standing out to me again, and I actually have been singing that song with Jenny and also sometimes with our sons, and there's one line in the kind of bridge section. It's just an ocean of suffering for a thimble of gain.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yes. What's great about pretty much all the songs, most of that we played so far, is that this is a little slice of life as opposed to beat you over the head protest song. And that always, to me, speaks to the level of skill of the songwriters. To be able to communicate a poignant, powerful message, but it's still a song that stands on its own as a song. I find sometimes, for myself anyway, sometimes my political songs, I'm always careful where I will play them, but those songs can be played anywhere. They're not going to necessarily offend anyone with those songs, but they will move and touch them, which is pretty powerful.
Yeah, not that I think there's necessarily anything wrong with some songs that people, but I think you're right that so far, the kinds of things that we've been, it's not that they don't have a strong point necessarily, but they do it in such a way that it could reach a lot of people, I think, if they heard them.
Yeah, I mean, and nothing against getting our energy from the sun, but it was more to the point. That
one also was made for kids, so
yes,
and it doesn't dumb it down, but I think there is a way in which when we write songs for kids, they tend to be a little bit more clear and direct.
Yeah,
in their way, and we'll come back to the thing about kids, I think, in a little bit, but I just wanted to come back to those songs we just played a little bit more. And one of the things I love about the Last Days song, the very last part where it talks about how, the book of our last days is not carved in stone. That's the last line, and it leaves on this unresolved chord too. So it just, to me, that's that idea of how even there's a lot of depressing stuff in that song, it still ends up by sort of twisting this idea of last days, which sort of has a apocalyptic, biblical sort of feel to it, but saying, but it's still up to us. Possibly, we still can do something about this. That's the way I feel about that.
Yeah.
That's part of why I feel like it's both hopeful and depressing at the same time.
Yeah. Yes. Again, speaking to the brilliance of great songwriting, to be able to communicate multiple ideas at the same time, which is one of the most powerful things about music in general. When I used to teach my songwriting class to kids, I would often say to them, if I came up to you and told you that I was happy, sad, pensive, but curious and a little shy, what would you think? And inevitably they'll go, there's something wrong with you. You're kind of crazy. Well, how can you feel all those things at once? And I said, well, actually humans do, but it's very difficult to communicate because you sound like a crazy person. But in a song, you can do that. You can be many different emotions all at the same time. And great songwriters are able to communicate that so well. Like they can give you that's all that stuff, and you feel it as soon as you hear the song. It's great.
Yeah, and I don't want to sell kids short when I was saying about how a lot of songs for kids tend to be a little bit more direct and clear in their point, because actually what you just made me think of is Jenny and I were just looking at this songwriting project we did a real long time ago at Anne Frank Elementary, and you were actually involved in it. Right? You recorded those kids. Final product. It was the Legend of the Blue Bonnet.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
Based on this Comanche story that Tommy DePaula had turned into a picture book. Anyway, we were looking at, Jenny had written up the process of the group of, these are third graders
Mm-hmm.
who wrote a song that was sort of the pivotal song within the story about the main character wrestling with these very difficult choices that she had to make. And we were looking at what the kids said about how she would be feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so sensitive and nuanced and sophisticated that these third graders, exactly the kind of thing you just said, Rodney, they saw this whole range of seemingly contradictory emotions in this character at this moment, and we were just blown away by the level of their thinking, that, and their creativity, but their sensitivity, that they really thought about how would this person be feeling, and it was so human and so full, and it was very cool. And and I think what's interesting about the whole idea that both of us have spent a lot of our time working with children is a lot of people sell children short in terms of how seriously they take things, and I think the environment is really a good issue to look at for that, because children have really led the way in so many ways on these issues. Before a lot of their parents got the idea of like reducing, reusing, and recycling, kids were learning about these things in schools, and they were coming back to their parents and saying, hey, mom and dad, you really need to do these things differently. And it's part of the way why, the very famous children's artist Raffi, he kind of left children's music and started doing environmental music. And he was sort of led there, I think, by his concern for kids and by what kids were thinking about. Anyway, it's just interesting to me that this is one of those things, certain movements like the dolphin safe tuna and the getting rid of styrofoam, those are activist movements that were led by children. And there's a really cool book by a friend of ours, Phil Hose, called It's Our World Too. And it's all about young activists. And a lot of them, it's all different issues, but a lot of them got involved through environmental topics.
Yeah. Well, I think it makes sense because they haven't been spoiled by the luxuries of excess yet. I mean, even if they do live in a place, they don't quite, they're still not there where they feel like, well, I don't want to give that up, or, I mean, it's really been interesting to, for the first time in my life, to go to a supermarket where there's no food. Or less food. I should say no food, because we're not in a third world country. We're just going through a big crisis here with the coronavirus thing. But it's a very strange thing to walk into a supermarket and see the aisles empty. And we are, for the most part, we're pretty spoiled as humans in how, contemporary people, even if they are even if they're poor, live better than kings and queens of 200 years ago. And it's a lot of that has to go with the labor that is provided by the energy that is produced by fossil fuel or nuclear. And we don't think about what that costs. But I think young kids see that immediately for some reason. I go back to they're just not spoiled yet. They're not going, well, I need my car. They don't have a car, so why do they need one? They don't feel that way.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, the only part of that I wonder about is, I bet you a lot of kids, if you tried to take away their screens, that probably would be giving a different impression. But I think that there is something in what you're saying too, though, because I think there's ways in which kids can care deeply about things like animals, and when they see happening in the environment to hurt the animals that they love, they can really have an emotional response to that. And sometimes also they ask questions that adults don't think to ask, like, why does it have to be this way?
Right.
Whereas adults have kind of come to accept and take for granted that certain things can't change.
Yeah.
Kids will sometimes say, well, but why? It can drive parents crazy how much.
But why?
But still, why? That why questioning is so valuable, that we sort of question our assumptions, question our way of life. And I think, there is a way in which kids are often the people in our society who are the ones who are asking those kinds of questions. So that kind of, again, segues nicely, because we have another song that was designed for kids, which I think very unusual and original one. Bill Shontz, who used to be part of a duo, Rosen Shontz, this album in the 90s called Animal Tales. It's spelled A-L-E-S.
Okay.
One of my favorite children's albums. And there's this kind of epic song on here. It's over 5 minutes long, called Package Man. And there aren't that many songs that I know about consumerism and over packaging and stuff like that. And I think this is just such a cool little piece. It's almost a little short story or play in a song with different characters. I'd love to see somebody act it out, maybe some ads. But let's hear Package Man. See what you think.
Package Man. Okay, cool.
Georgie made the most delicious cookies. Georgie baked them in his special pan. All his friends who tried them said that folks would buy them if they're packaged nice and fancy by the famous Package Man. So Georgie rode his bike down to the factory, walked inside, his cookie in his hand.
Hi, my name is Georgie. I want to sell this cookie.
You were wise to come and see me, Georgie. I'm the Package Man. I am the Package Man. I am the Package Man. I can pack a package like no other packer can. I'll make it boxadacious, pacastrophic, really swell. A cookie's just a cookie. It's the package that'll sell.
He turned to his assistant, who was standing close behind. He said,
"Take this cookie, Snooky. We've a package to design. Let's see, where should we start? Hey, I've got it. Wrap the cookie up in paper. Neon pink might work quite well.
Yeah, I think that hot pink paper would be absolutely swell.
'Cause a cookie's just a cookie. It's the package that'll sell."
I never thought of it that way.
Of course you didn't. Now, place the hot pink papered cookie in a decorator box. Big enough to catch their eye from halfway down the block.
Oh, a decorator box. That'll really ring their bell. And of course the hot pink paper would be absolutely swell.
'Cause a cookie's just a cookie.
It's the package that will sell.
I can see it, I can see it. It's a vision. We'll seal it all in shrink wrap, double thick and hard to tear, to keep the boxes shiny and protect them from the air.
Yeah, the shrink wrap is important to preserve the taste and smell. A decorator box, that'll really ring their bell. And of course the hot pink paper would be absolutely swell.
'Cause a cookie's just a cookie.
It's the package that will sell. Gosh, this is awfully fun.
Work with me, work with me. Put the shrink wrap boxed up cookie in a slick designer sack. To make it more attractive, we don't want it coming back.
Great! Designer sacks are magic with the yuppie clientele. Cute. And the shrink wrap is important to preserve the taste and smell. And a decorator box, that'll really ring their bell. And of course the hot pink paper would be absolutely swell.
Make it big, bigger, biggest.
It's the package that will sell. Genius, boss.
Have you ever doubted it? Now, of course, this brilliant package will be traveling out of state. So wrap it all in bubble pack and stick it in a heavy crate.
Oh boy, the crate would sure protect it on the truck in case it fell. Designer sacks are magic with the yuppie clientele. And the shrink wrap is important to preserve the taste and smell. In a decorator box, that'll really ring their bell. And of course, the hot pink paper would be absolutely swell.
Call a kid, it's a wrap.
It's a package that will sell. Georgie rode his bike back to the factory, saw the package.
Gosh, it's awfully big.
He opened up the crate and the bubble pack as well. The sack by a designer whose name he couldn't spell. Cute. Then the shrink wrap package with its funny plastic smell. Then the decorator box, which didn't ring his bell. Then he broke the paper wrapper and gave a dreadful yell.
Hey, there's nothing in this package. It's just an empty shell.
You forgot the cookie, Snooky.
No, I didn't. It was swell. Boss, you told me I should snack it.
I said package.
Whoops. Oh well.
Never mind about the cookie, it's the package that will sell.
I am the package man. I am the package man.
It was just a little cookie, but it's gotten out of hand. Keep your fancy packaging, your lettering and wrappaging. A little paper bag it can recycle will work grand.
He's wrong, Snooky. The kid is totally wrong. What do I always tell you?
You've gotta shrink, rotten bubble, pack 'em neatly, stack 'em, and they've gotta be crush proof and leak proof, bug proof. What's more, they've gotta be sterilized, homogenized, sanitized, and maximized. Packaged by the package man. Shrink, rotten bubble, pack 'em neatly, stack 'em, and they've gotta be crush proof and leak proof, bug proof. What's more, they've gotta be sterilized.
All right. I think it's a tour de force.
So my only question is, I did not know that Frank Zappa and Nilsson were influences on children's music.
Everything is influences on children's music.
I mean, there's so many Frank Zappa isms and Nilsson isms in that song. I was like, oh my God. It's awesome.
Those are cool things to find their way into children's music, I think.
Yeah.
Well, our friend Bill Harley sometimes likes to say that children's music is the one genre that's not a genre.
Yes.
Based on the age of the audience, not on anything stylistic. And so you can do anything that you want within it. And that, is one of the things that's very freeing and fun about doing it. But I think that's a very subversive song, really, because like I said, I can't think of that many songs that are about over packaging that so easily kind of pervades our society. And that song just, through that whole fun add-on pattern kind of how the Jack Built songs and stuff like that do, it very cleverly gets across this ridiculousness of putting things in more and more levels of packaging until the thing itself is sort of almost pointless or gone.
Yes, the thing you're actually selling is gone. Although, whenever I see little kids at birthday parties, they open up the box and then they take the toy out and then they put the toy aside and they play with the box.
Well, true, but I think that actually is more of an example of resourcefulness and ingenuity and caring more about the simple thing, because the box itself could just be a brown paper box or something.
Yes,
a cardboard box, and so instead of the glitzy toy that's plastic and wrapped in plastic and shrink wrapped. The box is often very simple, so in a way it's kind of the opposite.
Yeah, the box represents endless imagination where the toy is the toy.
Right.
And the packaging is the packaging.
But but it's I think it's an example though also of how people who do work with children, who do music for children, sometimes are very creative in their approach to it's clear, it's not going against that idea that for it to be for kids, it does have a clear point, but that point I think is done with a lot of sophistication. So cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So we, in this show, we usually focus on music that's from the 80s to the present. That's our mission. But every once in a while, we like to dig back a little earlier and do something that we call the throwback section.
The throwback song.
We've got a couple of them this time, and they're both from the 70s, the early 70s. One is the great, funky group, the Tower of Power, with Only So Much Oil in the Ground. And the other one's the great soulful singing of Marvin Gaye with Mercy, Mercy Me, the Ecology. And partly I was thinking, we've been pretty white in our representation so far. It's been very musically.
Yes, I think you can get away with saying that, David.
You can say it too. You can call me. But the Tom Pease one was based on gospel, but being done by mostly white people. But it's been varied musically. But I think environmental issues have sometimes been pigeonholed a little bit as kind of being more of a white issue, even though there's environmental racism where, the places often that are hardest hit by environmental destruction, by pollution, by toxic waste are, Black and brown communities. But, there's been this kind of, I think it may be an attempt by anti-environmental forces to paint it as a very white thing. But it's interesting to me that very early on, because remember Earth Days, just from the early 70s itself, in the environmental movement, a lot of songs like these ones we're going to play and ones by Gil Scott-Heron, there were a lot of really hard-hitting environmental songs from African-American musicians in various genres. So I think this sort of undercuts that attitude that somehow.
Yes. I think it goes to something we talked when we did the race show. We talked about my one-man show, and I talk about that a lot as being a person of color. Sometimes we are just pigeonholed that we're not that it's not that we don't want to or don't even do it. It's just that the marketplace doesn't always respond, or the gatekeepers don't want that to come out. And but we're going to find the third song in this block. Are we going to play all three of these songs together?
Well, let's do two, and then we'll talk.
Okay, but the third song we're going to play. The first song in the next block is a newer song by an African-American rapper about the earth. So we will get to that too. But let's just check out these two songs in the throwback section.
Yeah.
Tell that to your kids while you're driving round downtown. There's only so much
skies blue. Poison is the wind that blows from the north and south and east. Oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be. No, no. Oil wasted on the oceans and upon our seas. Fish full of mercury. Oh, oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be. No, no. Radiation underground and in the sky. Animals and birds who live nearby are lives. Oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be. What about this overcrowded land? How much more will you from me? Can't you stand?
All right. The great Marvin Gaye.
Yeah. So a little story about that connection to that song. A couple years ago, James Jamerson Jr. Was here at my studio, and he was telling me the story of when his dad came home from. Usually, his dad would come home. His dad, James Jamerson Sr., was the bass player on that song, and that we just heard. And usually, when he would come home from a session at Motown, he would just be like, yeah, well, whatever. Like he wasn't really all that impressed. But when he came home the day after that session of recording this song and a bunch of other songs for this record, he was like, I think we did something really special and important today. He felt like the session really touched him, which is pretty understandable. Pretty powerful song.
Yeah. I love the story about how Marvin Gaye really had to convince Berry Gordy to allow that album to happen.
Yeah.
Thought it was going to be totally a disaster. It's going to ruin your career, Marvin. You know, you can't get political. And then it ended up being this, you know, huge, influential and commercially successful album, you know, and I think it paved the way to a lot of other Motown artists getting more into that territory, you know, with Temptations doing things like Ball of Confusion. And, there was a whole new era of sort of socially conscious Motown stuff that came out of that permission to more artists to do.
Yeah, well, it is true. Going back to the conversation we were having a little earlier about African Americans, it was also true for any artist to get political who wasn't necessarily thought of as political, who wasn't a folk artist or sort of or a jazz artist. I mean, we think of like Nina Simone being very political, but if you think of it didn't help her commercial success that she was so political. Whereas with Bob Dylan, I mean, when you really look back on it, it didn't help his career either that he was thought of as really political. It just the music was so good, it was undeniable. So the fans decided that they didn't care, but the press and the record companies were always fearful of people.
That's probably
making
always true, you know, like in general, unless they can see a way to sort of use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it would be strange if the powers that be would encourage the things that question the powers that be. We can expect that. And, you know, but you know, and going back to that Tower of Power song, you know, I think that's an example of, you know, the lyrics of that are not like the greatest ever. It's such a fun, funky groove. You could the phone book over that music and it would be great. You know, so and it's not that they're bad. It's just, you know, it's compared to a lot of these other songs that are like poetry. Yeah. Pretty, you know, blatant and you know, but it doesn't matter because you're grooving away and it's a good point and it's got a great beat and you can dance to it. You know.
Well, I do also one of the things that I think we often we should do an episode about that, actually. I mean, it would be a little denser and more complicated, but the political messages that are in the music. And there's like, there's not a lot of lyrics to that, but there's so much of the message is unspoken. It's not in the words. There's, and right, I mean, like it's also got a great beat and you can dance to it, but, you know, in some ways you're dancing the pain of the planet being destroyed. I mean, I don't quite know how to put it into words, which is what makes the music so powerful, but there's something about just the message that's communicated in the music. It always reminds me of this joke I used to make. There was this hip-hop track that started off with the guy saying, yeah, hell yeah. Know what I'm saying? He hadn't said anything yet, but the message was all there because it was all in the groove that was being laid down, because the groove in the track was so unbelievably funky and was just communicating like you know, tons of information that just didn't need to be spoken.
Right. Well, it's definitely a good point that we should explore more in future episodes, the idea sort of not only of these overtly political lyrics, but really sort of the political implications of the music itself. Yeah. And since both of us like to geek out about that kind of a topic, that'll be fun, I'm sure. Yeah.
Of course.
Great. But for future, but tell us a little bit about this next one.
Well, I just was introduced to this next artist, and this is an alternate version of the song Mother Earth. And I believe that his name is pronounced.
It looks like Ellect,
or maybe it's Lect, L-E-C-T. And this is called Mother Earth, and there's a version of it which I don't know if it's released, which features Greta Thunberg, which is pretty cool. But this is, I guess it's the single version. That's what it says there. So check this out, Mother Earth. And after that, we will have Neil Young and Crazy Horse doing the Mother Earth, a natural anthem, live. So two very different versions of the same idea, not the same song, but the same idea.
When Mother Earth, here we go.
Yeah.
Is raping her, and there's no replacing her. Artificiality is hurting and disgracing her. We act like there's another, but it's cause we're so afraid of her and the magnitude of the powers that have created her. There is no debating her. The conversation moves ahead. If we do not save her, then in decades we will all be dead. Oceans turn from blue to red, and grass will turn from green to brown. Clouds fill up the skies, and acid rain begins to hit the ground. How overpowers devoured our home. We're cowards that think that we're standing alone. An hour a day and everyone's home. Empower the way that you care for your own. I'm tired of seeing the killing and fleeing, the spilling of blood, the loss of a feeling. Emotions are high, filling the sky with prayers and dreams. All angels fly. How can I do more than this? We're dying slow like open wrists. Watch the blood drip to the floor. It seems like we can't wait no more. The time is now, the end is near. It's time to move, let go of fear, or we will hear the softest sigh as Mother Earth has almost died. Mother Earth cries in pain, all because we are so vain. Working hard to please each other, showing disrespect to Mother. Love our sisters and our brothers, and the truth will be uncovered. And the lies, and when we try, there's no disguise for you and I. Mother Earth cries in pain, all because we are so vain. Working hard to please each other, showing disrespect to Mother. Love our sisters and our brothers, and the truth will be uncovered. And the lies, and when we try, there's no disguise for you and I. I verbalize best for turtles and nets, for tigers and dolphins, and even your pets, for elephant tusks and migrating ducks. We're killing our cousins for dollars and bucks. Enough is enough. We must up and now, whether it's by force or a sacred vow. Wanna know how? You just make a promise to care for our planet. You gotta be honest, speak the truth. Be a man, be a woman, understand. Make a choice about today. If it's too late, we'll wash away, and something else will take our place. We've got to enlighten the human race. We've got to inspire our brand new desire to fight to the wire for our empire. Hire the teachers for our future leaders, like scientists, doctors, and public speakers, hoping to reach us, spreading the knowledge. Help all the children get further than college. Do it today or we'll meet our doom. We don't want to give, what we do is consume. Burning the forest and drilling the seas. The powers that be are ignoring our pleas. We're spreading disease, killing the youth, polluting the breeze. Let's spit in this booth. Fulfilling the truth is saving a life, like animal testing done under the knife. We sacrifice lives in the name of science, cause they are not human, so there is no violence. That is a lie, it's a die. Humanity won't share a slice of the pie. Wanna know why? It's all cause of greed. The things that we want, we'll say that we need. Give it all up and we will have freed the chains on our minds. It's time to succeed. Plant a seed and watch it thrive, cause Mother Earth is still alive, helping you to understand. You've got the whole world in your hands. Mother Earth cries in pain, all because we are so vain. Working hard to please each other, showing disrespect to Mother. Love our sisters and our brothers, and the truth will be uncovered. And the lies, and when we try, there's no disguise for you and I. Mother Earth cries in pain, all because we are so vain. Working hard to please each other, showing disrespect to Mother. Love our sisters and our brothers, and the truth will be uncovered. And the lies, and when we try, there's no disguise for you and I. I call it how I see it, and I rarely tell a lie. I want this song to be a catalyst for you and I, to take control and last forever. Don't act like we're not so clever. Make it better, save the future, close the wound like a suture. Let it heal, then we'll feel emotions and notions we all know is real. Seals and polar bears, penguins and whales are suffering daily because we have failed. Put it in scale, fish in perspective, clean up your act and be more effective. It is defective, time for a change. Why is protecting the planet so strange? Are we insane because we've forgotten our souls are bright? Heaven is rotten, it's gotten so bad, what are we to do? All that I know is that it starts with you and me, and we can plant a tree and try to keep humanity from engaging insanity. I don't think it's too grand to plead. No destruction, no pollution, no discussion, no solution. Get to talk and start to fight. Revolution is your God-given right. Do what you can by the end of the night, and when you wake up you will feel alright. And we can begin in a brand new way of loving the planet, that's all I will say. It's Mother Earth. Mother Earth cries in pain, all because we are so vain. Working hard to please each other, showing disrespect to Mother. Love our sisters and our brothers, and the truth will be uncovered. And the lies, and when we try, there's no disguise for you and I. Mother Earth cries in pain, all because we are so vain. Working hard to please each other, showing disrespect to Mother. Love our sisters and our brothers, and the truth will be uncovered. And the lies, and when we try, there's no disguise for you and I. Mother Earth cries in pain, all because we are so vain. Working hard to please each other, showing disrespect to Mother. Love our sisters and our brothers, and the truth will be uncovered. And the lies, and when we try, there's no disguise for you and I. Mother Earth cries in pain, all because we are so vain. Working hard to please each other, showing disrespect to Mother. Love our sisters and our brothers, and the truth will be uncovered. And the lies, and when we try, there's no disguise for you and I.
once more laid down by the hungry hand. How long can you give and not receive and feed this world rule by greed and feed this world rule by greed. Oh, ball of fire in the summer sky, your healing light, your parade of days, are they betrayed by the men of power who hold this world in their changing hands? They hold the world in their changing hands. Oh, freedom land, can you let this go? Down to the streets where the numbers grow. Respect Mother Earth and her giving ways, or trade away our children's days, or trade away our children's days. Respect Mother Earth and her healing ways, or trade away our children's
Hmm. Wow.
Very distinctive guitar of Neil Young.
Crazy. I love that when an artist can take that sort of really ugly, loud, distorted guitar and put like these sweet, beautiful harmonies to it. It always, I am always fascinated by that, and it always, to me, it makes it even more moving and powerful.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they chose to do it with the vocal harmonies and just Neil's guitar, no other instruments. You know, it's definitely sounds rock and not folk, even though it's with one guitar. But
yeah, well, it feels like a Celtic hymn.
Yeah, well, I think the melody is basically "The water is wide."
Ah, okay, yeah.
The last phrase, but yeah, but it's not really totally a original melody. But that's why it has that very familiar old sound to it.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, but so two very different Mother Earth songs.
Yes. Yes. And I think by the time we do our next episode, I will premiere my Mother Earth song I have that
cool.
I used to do with my old band. I just don't have a recording of it, so I will do that before our next Mother Earth show.
Excellent.
But yeah, two very different Mother Earth songs, but both with the same idea that we must take care of our mother.
Yeah. So I think we've had a very interesting variety of topics, because obviously the environment is a huge area. We could do a whole show on climate change. We could do a whole show on endangered species or energy or all sorts of different aspects of it.
Yeah.
And maybe we will down the road.
And we will, yes.
But for now, that's a smattering. And one of the things that I sometimes say when we think about some of these songs that maybe are down in their actual content, I sometimes feel like a foil to that for me is the fact that somebody put this amount of care and creativity into making that particular song, even if the song itself is depressing, is hopeful to me. It gives me hope that somebody poured that much creativity into this thing to try to move other people. And just that fact, is is heartening to me and lifts me up. So I hope that has that effect on some of you too, because I think, if we just get depressed, that's not productive. We need to actually be moved to action on these issues, not just brought down and feel like it's hopeless. I guess there's, too much of a sort of activist sense to me that every time I start just feeling like brought down by these things, I think, okay, that's not going to help me, do what I need to do. So somehow we've got to keep seeing some hope for the future in order to motivate us to be able to keep on keeping on.
Yes, keep on keeping on. Well, it's interesting because there's 2 points that keep sticking. One point that you mentioned earlier that I was thinking of about the children always asking why, and I thought that is what artists do.
Yeah,
and that's one of the reasons why we stay young, or at least feel that we are young. It's because we're always curious about why. Why does it have to be this way? And the other thing I was thinking is the creative person, the product, the song, the sculpture, the painting is the residue of the work that we do as artists. And it's just what the audience ends up seeing. But the real work is somehow dealing with how an issue or a thought or an idea impacts us personally. And we use our art to work through that. And the wonderful thing is there is that residue that's left, which is the piece itself. So even though the initial and who knows? I mean, you think of that Mother Earth song from Neil Young. It probably made him very angry what he saw. There's probably a lot of anger, but he created this beautiful piece of music that can make you cry or make you sad. I mean, we really don't know what he was working through to be able to create that, but you can imagine. And I agree with you in that it is hopeful that you see so many people moved to actually create something about what's going on with the earth and climate change as the environment as the larger subject. And we will definitely dig deeper and far more reaching inside this topic in shows to come.
Yeah, and that the point you were just making about kind of the role of the artist, I think, is something I've been seeing people talking about in this time with the health crisis that we're going through, and talking about how, artists being creative and creative problem solvers are really at the heart of how people are wrestling with all these dramatic changes to our lives and helping bring people together, even though it has to be through online methods, but also just really kind of, like you said, working through and thinking through in a different way these kinds of difficult issues and asking questions that maybe other people aren't asking, and hopefully sometimes coming up with solutions that other people aren't coming up with too.
Yeah.
Excellent. So until next time.
Yes. See you guys later.
Yeah.
Take care of the planet and take care of yourselves.
You've been listening to Music for the New Revolution. I'm Rodney Wittenberg.
I'm David Heitler-Clevens.
Music for the New Revolution is produced at Melody Vision Recording Studios in Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania. Music for the New Revolution is written and produced by David Heitler-Clevens and Rodney Wittenberg.
And edited and co-produced by Ben Flax.
You can find us at musicforthenewrevolution.com or MFTNR. Like us on Facebook and follow our Spotify playlist.
And our podcasts can be found on SoundCloud and iTunes, and you can also be a patron, a supporter of our podcast on Patreon.
This is Music for the New Revolution.
Spend it all today and we will bill you tomorrow. 3-piece suits and bank accounts in Bahamas. Wall Street crime will never send you to the slammer. Tell all the children in the arms of the mamas. The F-15 is a homicide bomber. TV commercial for a pop-up pill culture. Drug companies circling like a vulture.